this is a vastly overdue update on my life. This is largely going to be like kind of a mental health themed update because I haven't made a video in forever, and I don't know, this finally compelled me to dig up my camera again. So yeah, I've been making videos, honestly, because I've been doing a lot better. I've just been, like, out of the house. The, agoraphobia, the kind of, like, anxiety surrounding, like, leaving my house has more or less, like, completely dissipated, so that's been awesome, obviously. I've been really connected to, my support group, like, my friends, my family. I'm actually dating now. I have a boyfriend, which doesn't make any sense, but here we are, folks! So anyway, I'm alive. Yeah, and I wanted to talk about kind of where I'm at. So it's been over 6 months anyway. I don't know how actually, like, how long it's been. But it's been over 6 months, and so I've been on the new medication now for that long. That was a mess of a sentence, but yeah, so I've been on the new medication that I actually started just before I started posting videos at all. So it's been a while, and obviously, like, it's worked its way into my system. It's a pretty good balance. I've maintained it. It's working for me. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So, the reason any of this, like, even came into my head was because I actually had a conversation with my boyfriend today. Kind of about my medication. The reason that came up is because I messed up the refills on one of my prescriptions, and so I've gone without one of them for the past 2 days now. I will tell you which one. And it's made sleep extremely difficult. So if I seem a bit manic in this video, I am doing better. Like, generally, I haven't slept in, like, 48 hours, basically. Like, I've kind of, like, napped for maybe, like, 20 minutes at a time, but largely, like, I mean, I've been awake since 4 in the morning, and what time is it now? It's, like, shortly after 1, so that sucks, but, yeah, so, just medication-wise, I wrote it down. I don't know the brand names of the medication I'm on, I just know, like, the pharmaceutical, like, the thing that's on the bottle, so, I understand that the medications that I'm listing may vary brand to brand, and, like, none of what I'm listing as, like, a prescription or, like, a recommendation or anything. I'm just, like, trying to tell you what my experience is so that if your experience is similar, sweet, you know, I don't know, if there is something you can learn from it, I don't know, I'll put the medication in the little, like, box down there, too. I'm just gonna write it out, because chances are I'm gonna say it wrong, because it's a lot of words. And just as, like, background, oh my god, like, this video is gonna be forever. I don't want, like, people to see this video and be like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, if you haven't seen any of my other stuff, especially because it was so long ago. So I am still dealing with my depression. I have major depressive disorder, kind of like a generalized anxiety dealio, and I have borderline personality disorder. I deal with a few kind of, like, OCD kind of tendencies, but like, I am not diagnosed with OCD. It's not, like, full-blown or anything. I just, like, I have a couple things with, like, numbers that I stick on. I have experienced in the last little while kind of, like, I didn't know there was a name for this, dermatillomania, which I think it's been less about anxiety. I mean, that's been long-standing, but I think that that's more of a product of, like, I've just had acne forever, and most people with acne usually end up picking at their skin. And sorry, that's what dermatillomania is. What sucks is that, like, I'll get scabs every once in a while, and if I don't catch myself, like, before I start picking, like, I'll literally, like, scratch at something and then just be like, well, like, I'll even be like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, but then because I've, like, started, I have to finish it, so that sucks, and it's super gross. Anyway, complete side note. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I'm dealing with, and this is the medication cocktail that I'm on right now. and have been for the past few months. So I take 300 milligrams of mylan-bupropion, which is an antidepressant, and 300 milligrams of teva-venlafaxine, and that's an antidepressant slash anti-anxiety. I take those 2 in the morning. The reason for that is because the bupropion has kind of like an added perk for me anyway of kind of like helping me get going in the morning. Like it's a bit of a stimulant, so that's good. I don't know why I take the other one in the morning, I guess like just so that I have it for the day, I guess is the theory behind it, whatever. And then at night I take 300 milligrams of teva-quetiapine, which is an antipsychotic, which sounds worse than it is, but that has the added bonus for me of being a sedative, which is why I haven't been able to sleep the past couple of days, because I messed up the schedule of my prescription. So I should be able to pick that up today and hopefully get some Z's in. But anyway, the reason that this came up today with my boyfriend was because I was telling him about how I've been having sleeping issues, and he was asking me about my medication. And so I told him that, and he kind of like, you know, he's asking around, you know, do you have to be on that particular medication where like you can't sleep without it? Like that kind of sucks. And the only thing I had to say about that, he was like, because I had explained to him that it's an antipsychotic, and so he had said, well, you know, like, aren't there other antipsychotics you can take? And the reason that, like, when I'm listing what I'm on, like, I'm not trying to recommend it at all, because all of this stuff is so different person to person. You can build up tolerances to some of them, which is what happened to me with the medication that I was on. It's why I crashed so hard. I was on this medication for months, years actually, and it seemed to be working, and then it just sort of tapered off. It also, like, it depends on you as a person, it depends on what you're experiencing, it depends on what else you're taking. There are certain, like, multivitamins you shouldn't be taking with certain medications. Like, there's a whole reason that there are people who are doctors with this stuff, because I'm just sharing my experience, and if you can get anything from it, great, but I'm not an expert, so anyway. So he was asking, you know, is there not another antipsychotic that you could go on? And I was like, oh yeah, like, I'm sure, but it takes months to kind of, like, figure it out and to get a good mix. And I mean, like, other than, you know, when I mess it up, this medication is largely, like, doing what I want it to do for me. So hopefully I just, like, I'm more on the ball in the future, and once I'm back on it, we should be good. And I mean, it's only been 2 days, so it hasn't completely worked its way out of my system. Something else then that he then asked, he goes, you know, do you ever stop taking your medication on purpose? And this is a tricky one, simply because I would never call it on purpose when I do stop taking my medication. Usually what it is, I am very, like, affected by my surroundings. I think most people are, but, like, it's maybe it's, like, weird to admit it, but, like, if I don't get enough sun, if I'm, like, too closed up in my room, if I'm not socializing with other people, if I'm not, like, eating good food, and I don't mean, like, yum, I mean, like, you know, I need a vegetable every once in a while. Like, this all affects your mental wellness, and so, I would say, like, anytime that I've gone off my medication, it's usually been a combination of a bunch of things in my surroundings that have affected me negatively, put me in kind of the start of a low, and then I'll miss a day or two or something, or, like, and sometimes too, you know, I get into these kind of destructive thought processes where I, you know, if I stop doing something, I have to wait until, like, a certain time or a certain day or a certain, like, yeah, I get, like, fixated on, you know, there's a certain point at which I have to restart, so to say. So there have been times that I have gone off my medication, but I wouldn't call it on purpose, even if it is an instance of me actually, like, choosing not to take my medication, because generally, if that's a choice that I'm even entertaining, I'm already on my way down. So, what this whole conversation kind of sparked was an interesting opportunity for me to actually be able to articulate a lot of what I feel and a lot of what I need when I'm in a low, that when I'm in a low, I'm not able to articulate. A lot of it is like, when you're in that place where you're not able to take care of yourself, it's like, it's pretty all-consuming. Like, it's hard to even admit that you need help. It's hard to ask for help. It's hard to even like reach out to anyone else. And so far, like I said, like, I'm on a fairly like fresh medication mix. You know, it hasn't even been a year, so hopefully if this keeps working for me, I will have a good balance for the next little while. But I actually got the opportunity to say to my boyfriend, you know, like, sometimes it hasn't happened yet, but sometimes I lash out at the people around me. And generally, my lows, my like ugly points are fairly implosive. They aren't really explosive per se, I guess. If I'm going down, I'm not trying to take the room with me, generally. It's pretty self-destructive. But this doesn't mean that I don't turn into a jerk sometimes about it, because, and none of this is an excuse. When you're being a jerk, you're being a jerk, right? But like, it's hard sometimes to break yourself out of it. With mental illness, or, you know, just when you're having a shit day, like, it can be hard to say to yourself, okay, I'm being unreasonable, whatever, right? Take a step back, take a breath. But I do lash out at the people around me sometimes when I'm kind of at the top of the spiral, because it's less that I'm trying to hurt anyone else and more that I'm trying to hurt myself. And it sounds dramatic, and it's difficult to like just say, especially when you're actually like going through it. But a lot of what it is honestly, it's like, it's a destructive thought process where I'm pushing away my support system, and I'm pushing away a lot of the people that I like need most in those moments, because it's a way of proving to myself that I don't deserve them. And it's a way of proving to myself that I'm as shitty as I feel like I am. And so obviously it doesn't excuse, like I said, it doesn't excuse when you're just being a jerk, right? But it was an interesting opportunity today to kind of say to him, like, hey, you know, if this is happening, and like, you know, if I'm really being unreasonable, or, you know, if I'm being a jerk, first of all, call me on it. Like, I want to know if I'm being a jerk, because sometimes I'm just stomping around and I don't realize. But no, sometimes too, like, you know, tell me I'm being a jerk. You know, ask me if I'm okay. Please don't tell me to calm down. And just let me know that you give a crap about me, you know, like, because sometimes that's, I mean, you know, it's a cry for help. As, again, a lot of it sounds dramatic, but you know what, it is what it is. I'm not gonna try and like censor myself so that it's, I would rather make it seem more dramatic than it is, and actually like put myself in a spot where I'm letting the people around me actually know like what is up, as opposed to like downplaying it and then not having the awareness to actually have like a safety net in place. Like, and the reason that I thought that this was such an interesting opportunity, and the reason that I wanted to make a video about it, which this video is so long, I'm so sorry, but I wanted to say, when you're doing well with mental illness, it doesn't mean that you're done. It doesn't mean that you're out of it. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be still continuing to treat it. I mean, hopefully, you know, you are going to be stable and you're going to be, you know, riding the high or whatever, like, for as long as you can, but you need to maintain it. You need to be working on it. And this is something that I've learned the hard way, obviously. And so being in a good spot now, and taking the time to actually talk to the people around me and explain to them what might happen when I'm in not such a good place. Especially because when I'm in a bad place, I'm often not able to say anything about it. I'm often not able to explain, or even like draw attention to it if I'm managing to be subtle. I don't know, you know, like, and I just wanted to say, like, you know, like, if you're in a low, like, reach out, please. You know, even when you've pushed someone away from you, I mean, sometimes you're gonna have to suck it up. You're gonna have to say, look, sorry, I've been a jerk, here's why. And hopefully they listen to you. And I mean, if it's the people that you should have in your support system, and if it's people that you should feel open in saying this kind of stuff to, they'll get it, you know? They care about you, they love you, like, and it's hard when you're in a spot where you're telling yourself that you're not worth that, but you are. And set it up when you're feeling like you are. Set it up so that you have it for when you need it. 'Cause, I mean, I'm proud too. I'm a jerk. And so, like, when I'm in that low, I'm not able to just say to someone, like, you know, hey, can you just, like, remind me that you love me? Like, you know, like, often I end up going to the person just being like, nah! Like, fuck you! Whatever, like, and, I don't know, that's kind of like a pretty typical self-destructive, like, borderline personality disorder. It's, like, testing your relationships, because if they fail, it, like, proves you right, that sort of thing, right? Try to learn what you can about how you are when you're not well. Because all you can do is prepare for it. And hopefully you set yourself up and then it just, like, it never happens. But if it does, like, you need to be there for yourself when you know that you're not going to be there for yourself. So talk to the people around you. Sometimes even just, like, you know, picking your brain with someone else will make you kind of, like, learn how to articulate a lot of the things that you maybe didn't have words for yet. And, yeah, I don't know. Set yourself up for success. Yeah. It's interesting learning about other people, especially people that you care about and people that you want to learn more about. And so, honestly, like, the people that you're close to in your lives, like, the people that you're involving to this level, usually if you're this invested, they're invested in you too. And so, it's not burdensome. And don't leave it to a time when you might feel like it is, I think, is what I've been trying to say in this 20-minute video. This is absurd. But, yeah. Talking about mental illness is very difficult, but that's why when you're dealing with mental illness, you have to talk about mental wellness as well. And you have to take steps to feel good, so that hopefully you can just keep feeling good. But at least then too, if you've taken those steps and if you've, like, explicitly laid that out for yourself, then it means that when you stop feeling good, hopefully you know how to get back there. I'm sorry this is so long. Yeah. If you're having trouble, and if, you know, if you're having a hard time reaching out to, you know, your support group and your family and your friends and the people around you, you know, and sometimes it feels like you need someone who just, like, doesn't know you, feel free to contact me in whatever way you deem appropriate. I'll do what I can for you, but you have to do what you can for yourself. So yeah.